On three. Okay. 1, 2. Did you clap? Oh, okay. I should have asked if you were actually recording first, huh? Alright. Ready? 1, 2.
Hello and welcome to Scrollplay, the North Side version. We are here with your previous host, Nick Transu, who I am going to kill at the end of this interview and replace as your future host.
I thank you for the honor of letting me speak before my death.
You are very welcome because it is very well deserved.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that that's a written rule for podcasts.
Yes. And every time you have to, if you're going to co-host an episode of the podcast, you also have to sacrifice a virgin first.
That's right. That's right. So remember that whenever I ask you to co-host.
Yeah, you better be prepared. This is serious stuff, people.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm going to be interviewing your host. This is at the suggestion of the player of Taida, because, you are always interviewing people and you're always doing stuff for the community, but nobody ever says, but what about Nick Transu? You never get time to, talk about yourself, so I thought that it was a great idea.
Taida. It is Taida, by the way. Because it's Taida Tot.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
that makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, the player came to me and he was like, "Hey, would you think it'd be alright if we found somebody to interview you?" I'm like, sure. And I guess they messaged you and it was like, well, we got Floyd to do it. I'm like, okay, great. This would be fantastic.
So my first question for you is, the first question that I usually ask on Scrollplay, is how do you get started on your roleplay? So tell us about your first roleplay ever.
My first roleplay ever? It was shortly after it was in Elder Scrolls Online, right?
Yeah.
I had just made Iandel Wolfheart, he was called back then. And I was randomly running through a cave, healing my two friends from work. And this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you have a role-playing last name. Do you role-play?"
Nice.
And I'm like, "No, but I'm open to it." So he sent me an invite to a guild. And the next night I showed up. It was the Imperial Dissident Movement.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you remember them.
Yeah, I do.
And they were in... Where were they that night? Taida in... Oh, don't... That's the first zone.
In Stone Falls?
Yeah, Stone Falls.
Yeah.
That's the one. I think no, Taldai's in Deshaun.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we were in Deshaun, and your first jittery, nervous experience of trying to introduce yourself as a character.
Yeah.
So Ido was very quiet whenever I first started, which made sense because this is in his story. It was the first time he really talked to people. After coming over
totally
from Valenwood. Because, being around Dark Elves and Nords, as a Bosmer, you don't really want to talk much.
No joke. Yeah.
So,
plus, being a foreigner in the first place during this war would be scary for anyone, I feel like.
Yeah. It was either you're a slave or you're an outcast.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was my first experience. We were meeting, and it was my first time, so I had literally read up on all the lore I had, and then the little time that I had from being, asked about joining the guild. I'm like, oh, I don't want to sound like an idiot. So I was just, very nervous, and I remember distinctly after doing that, it was, a short 30-minute interview or whatever. I just remember asking people, did I do all right? Did I?
Nice.
Because I had no confidence in my abilities, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's usually something that you build as you start to get familiar with what you're doing and stuff. I think that's really cool that you got into role playing from somebody just being like, hey, you have a role play name. Because that's something that I try to do as often as possible and encourage people to do. Because, like, if somebody has a roleplay name, they're probably interested, at least, subconsciously, in that type of thing, in stories and settings and characters and stuff like that.
I think that was a big draw for me. I mean, like, the reason that I still roleplay is because I love writing a story that I'm not actually writing.
Totally. Yeah.
Like, I started it, now everybody else can finish it for me.
Yeah, I've been watching a ridiculous amount of Star Trek, and I cannot help but notice how much the holodeck is like role-playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you go in, and there's a story, and you play it out, and you don't know what's going to happen,
You got no idea. You open it up, you're just like, well, here I am.
Totally.
But yeah, that's the main draw for me is Iandale's been a character that I've had in like stories from 7 years ago or whatever, when I just write it in a journal or something.
Yeah.
And it just evolved. I'm like, well, this is a name I've always liked. He was always like a Bosmer or somebody like Native American-esque.
Right.
So that's the basis of his character, was from those stories. And I'm like, well, what does that fit in the world of Elder Scrolls? And it was Bosmer Spinner. So
Totally. Nice. So, after you started role-playing, you ended up being one of the leaders of the Vigilant. You went from there. How did that transition happen? How did you go from just being a player to co-running a guild? Within a very short period of time.
Yeah, it was like a month or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were just role-playing, and then it was me, and there was Eric, Anna, Mike, Taraji, and Kevin, which I've used some of their actual first names. They might yell at me for that, but but yeah, we wanted a different, because we were in a military themed guild that was like strict
Right.
military, and we didn't want to just do that. So we decided, well, let's focus on something different. So we decided, like, we never saw anybody play the people who just fought against like Daedra, or
Yeah.
like not even just Daedra themselves, but the negative impacts of Daedra. So we're like, why don't we go that route?
Nice.
So,
and it fit with your story you already have anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it sort of just evolved into like, well, this is the group that we wanted, and it grew. We found a home up in Skyrim at Gearman's Hall, and it took off really quickly. I remember asking you, I was actually in a Scrollplay once. You were kind enough to allow me and Taraji on to bump
right.
the Vigilant at the start.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So you helped us prepare that giant feast we held at Gearman's Hall.
I almost forgot about that feast.
So like one of the coolest moments, I think, was you had highlighted it in a show after that, was shown Iron Fist, because my character had given a speech about Gearman and like the legacy of Gearman's Hall.
Yeah.
And like I think Sean's emote was, there's a single tear rolling down his eyes. He remembers the history of his land or something like that. Like, nice. Man, I must have done something all right.
Totally.
So.
Yeah, it was a really good event, and that whole time was really interesting for the Vigilant, I feel, because you guys had been kind of insular at first, kind of doing your own role play and being focused on that, and you were like, hey, I kind of want to bring the guild out from that and get us into the community, and you were like nervous about that at first.
Well, yeah, like you said, like it was a month after I had started role playing, right?
Totally.
So, like, I had no idea what to do, and then, like, suddenly I'm a leader as well, and like none of my other like co-leaders were really leaders before, so this was all new. So we're like, at the first we just wanted to focus on us, because we have to make sure we're all right before we open it up to the public.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guilds were doing that at the time, too. I had people be like, we didn't even know that there was an Argonian guild, because we were getting established,
Yeah, and that was, how long after the game was out? Maybe 3 months?
Right.
So nothing was established back then, really.
Totally.
Well, there was one thing, but let's not go there.
So you went from being the leader of the Vigilant to, like, in another short period of time, being a leader of the Skyrim community, which sort of grew up around, you know, your efforts and the efforts of a few other people. How did that whole thing happen?
Well, I mean, like you had said, it was a month or so after I'd started role-playing, I started being a leader of the Vigilant. And then I think a month of leading the Vigilant, we opened it up to the community and held our first event. And I think COS started maybe 2 months after that. So the big thing that started that was I kept seeing all of these events down in, say, Morrowind or even some in Shadowfen, even though there wasn't as many of you guys down there.
Mm.
But I kept seeing all these guilds get together for these giant community events. I mean, we had the Great Moots, they were back then. There was the slave auctions and stuff. So I wanted to see something like that for the Skyrim community. And there wasn't a lot of guilds up there at the time. There was the Vigilant, we were in Gearman's. The Hammer of Atmora was in Fallowstone Hall. Then we had Clan Hawkheart.
Oh,
there
right.
Was, I think it was, I forget what Iron Fist's clan name was. I don't know if it was Clan Iron Fist or...
Yeah.
But he was in Namalton. And I think there was one in Riften. I don't even remember. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah, I don't
But
remember.
basically, all Darkwater Rangers were around at the time, too.
Oh, yeah.
But they quickly vanished.
Yeah.
So basically, it boiled down to there was an effort on the Hammer of Atmora side. They were trying to get the in-character moots going for Skyrim. So they were trying to invite all the guild leaders into these moots. And I wanted to pursue more of like an out-of-character aspect of it, where I wanted to get the website and the forums and everything set up. Because to me, that's how you hold a community together.
Yeah. Agreed, for sure.
So I wanted to try and get that set up and get all the other guild leaders on board. So basically, we met at a certain point where they came to me with an in-character invitation to a moot. And I came to them with an out-of-character invitation to a website. And they were like, why don't we just combine this?
Nice.
Like, why don't we just combine our efforts? So, I mean, at the start, it was Thorolf and myself working really, really hard on getting the website and the community together, getting the guild leaders to agree to this. So there was a lot of work between the two of us. There was nights where we would just talk for probably 4 or 5 hours in TeamSpeak.
Oh, wow.
Over like trying to, because at the start of something like that, you know, there's going to be a lot of drama started up from people who are new or don't know what's going on or anything. So at the start of anything like this huge, and a community thing is a huge project.
Yeah.
You have to be dedicated to it. I mean,
oh yeah.
It took so much time to get that going.
Yeah, I think when you guys revealed the website, it was just so beautiful that it drew a lot of people in. You know, people who necessarily weren't normally forum people became forum people just so they could hang out on the awesome website.
Yeah, the website design was amazing. I actually think you have the same guy for RPHQ.
Yeah, that's correct. And the current Banescale.
Did he do Banescales as well?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, he did the original layout for it. I think since then he's passed the torch on to Forge Master, who I believe is Rogorn. So
nice.
But yeah, the website at the very start was something we were incredibly proud of. That was just gorgeous.
Totally.
So, and it's grown since then too. I don't know if you've taken a look at it recently.
Oh yeah, it's even cooler now.
Yeah, I mean we tried around with that IC chat room. It didn't work out.
Yeah.
So, but
you gotta try
that's
things.
That's basically how that came about. Yeah, we try it fails. We say whatever we tried.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I know that a lot of people are grateful for all the work that you've done with COS. I remember during that time how stressed you were, just because there was so much going on and you were so busy with it, and you were like brand new to roleplay.
Yeah, it was a large undertaking. I think being brand new to roleplay helped out quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
because I was able to be like, you know, molded to different things instead of being
Sure.
used to one thing in particular. Like I was very open to new ideas because I didn't know what it was supposed to be.
Totally. Yeah, that's good.
So-
I mean, I think that that's really the value of bringing in new people all the time is because you get a new perspective with it. You know?
Yeah, and that was the thing too. We always wanted it to be as community driven as it is even today, because there's no way that just two of us could do it. It would just be impossible.
Yeah.
You know, so we brought people on who wanted to do artwork. We brought people on who wanted to do, you know, anything with forums. Anybody to help us lead. And that's where like the council came from at the start. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So now you are doing podcasting.
yeah.
And you have all sorts of stuff going on. Tell us about your podcasting.
I got in contact with you over at RPHQ, which is Roleplay headquarters, if people don't know it. But it's a site that you're making, that you want to make as a... you go ahead and pitch your own for a second here. How about that?
Yeah, sure. It's RPHQ is, like you said, Roleplay headquarters. Like Children of Skyrim, it's definitely a, big group effort. Trying to get as many people involved in it, doing as many things as they want. So I, have been open to inviting people in to come do podcasts that they want to do, or blogs that they want to do, or video series or whatever. So, we talked about it, and now you're doing one of the 2 podcasts that are currently up for the show, which is Lore Implications, and it's really cool.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, because I had never met Mycroft before.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you don't know what sort of standards to meet, but he's very laid back and chill, so it was, I remember, like, the first time I sent him a test edit, it was like, dude, I hope this goes over well, but here's the first test edit. And he comes back, he's like, like I'm usually not this shy, but whenever I do something, I want it to be good. So like I'm very much that way with my art.
Oh yeah.
And I think of like podcasting and stuff as an art because you're editing it and all that.
Oh yeah.
And piecing it all together. So I sent it to him. And he comes back the next day. He was like, I can't believe you made it sound so crisp. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
well, that's good.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's been one of the fun things about RPHQ is I've been like smashing different people that both want to work on the same thing together. And it's usually people that have never met each other before. And so, it's kind of fun to see them like get to know each other through their work.
Yeah. So Lore Implications, it's usually Mycroft and Pooch because they're both incredibly knowledgeable about lore, about a varying degree of subjects. So they're usually one song I'm editing. But I did get invited to talk about a couple races on one of the episodes. And I'm sure that Mycroft had all this information in his head already. And I just sounded like a gibbering idiot trying to describe like the, where halflings came from or where the term drow came from. And he's probably just like sitting back in his chair being like, why am I working with this guy?
I don't know. I'm sure he wouldn't have had you talk about those races if you weren't going to contribute.
Yeah. But so yeah, I do that one. I obviously do. Well, I was doing this show until you're taking it away from me.
Yeah, you're not gonna do anything after this.
Yeah, no, you gotta edit Lore Implications. That's what we're talking about.
Oh shit! Maybe I will keep you alive.
Just be a slave down in your dungeon.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great idea.
We'll work for food.
We'll edit for food.
So yeah, I host the show, which I kind of modeled after your own show, Scrollplay.
Oh gosh,
which I guess you're not doing anymore.
No, not yeah. I might pick it up one of these days, but we'll see.
But I remember just watching those shows and like, hearing the stories behind things, which is something you always want to hear. So I'm like, why not try to do this for the Skyrim community as well? And I asked you. You said it was okay if I did it, and because I didn't want to just like outright steal it without telling you first.
I wish every faction on each mega server had its own show like this. I think it would be way cool.
It would be real cool, yeah. Maybe I'll just branch out and make it Scrollplay and start interviewing Marwin and Shadowpin people.
Yeah, there you go.
we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That would be interesting, actually. To
whenever Skyrim like kicks me out,
They're like, okay, we're tired of this Bosmer with his rotten meat breath.
Yeah. Or the fermented pig's milk.
Fermented pig's milk breath.
Good old Jaga.
Yep.
I want to try that one day. I'm going to make it.
Dude, it would be really, really interesting, and I think it would do more than get you drunk.
I think so too, yeah. I think you'd probably throw up.
Yeah.
Because, like milk and anything is just not a good combo.
Yeah.
Especially that much of it. Anywho. So yeah, I'm doing this. I try to put out one of these every 2 weeks. It varies. Depending on how busy I am.
Yeah.
And that recently has been, I'm trying to open up my own business. So I'm incredibly busy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually something I was going to ask you about. Tell us a little bit about your own business. I know it's not really necessarily roleplay related, but this episode is about you, to honor before you die.
Yeah, exactly. I got to get this out there before my business collapses. So I'm trying to open up like an old school soda shop in my hometown. I don't know if you know where I live exactly, but I live in like a small town, Saxonburg, PA, Pennsylvania. We don't say Pennsylvania here because it's so long.
Yeah.
But it's like 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
And there's, I think, a grand total of 1,700 residents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a small community, so everybody knows each other. Everybody, So the idea came to me about this business because all of the other business owners pretty much wanted this business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They were all business owners, so they had no time to, do it. So I'm like, well, I don't own a business. I've always thought I could own a business. I think I have the personality for something of this. And I decided, well, I'm going to take all of their ideas. I went around, talked to them for like a month on end of just getting their ideas.
Wow.
We pieced it together. So it's another community project, really.
Totally. It's the same thing, especially in a small town like that. It is kind of like a role play community in a sense that everyone does know each other and
exactly
wants to support each other on their projects and stuff.
Yeah, which is the benefit of a small town.
Yeah.
So I went around, talked to them. I had a GoFundMe out. We raised some money for it.
That's right.
Yeah, and thank you for donating, by the way.
Of course.
And so I actually just got the key today to the building.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's exciting.
So it's all real now.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
How'd you get a building? Did you have to take out a loan? And you're renting it. Nice.
Yeah, it's the landlord's really awesome. He's actually doing a lot of work for me as part of the lease agreement, so I don't have to pay for it.
Oh, cool.
So that's how far behind like the town is behind this idea. So,
wow, that's way cool.
It's been amazing. But yeah, we're gonna do. Eventually, I want to actually like bottle the pop.
Oh, that would be sweet.
The soda. Sorry. But we actually want to bottle it and send it to other places wholesale.
Nice.
And eventually start making our own flavors for the syrups, make our own ice cream. So.
Wow, that's going to be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Maybe if it catches on, I can fly out here. You can.
Dude, I might fly out there just
have a
anyway.
lunch or something.
Yeah, I want to go drink a soda in your soda shop. That sounds like a great time.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll be hearing lots of updates on this because that's just a huge part of my life right now. Like as soon as I decided, I signed the lease a couple days ago, and as soon as I signed it, I'm like, well, here's my life.
Totally. Yep. You basically just had a child.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's how it went. Yeah, I have that, and then I have my own coffee roasting company.
That's right. Yeah, tell us about that.
So, yeah, it hasn't caught on as much because I haven't really expanded upon that idea. But, I roast coffee. If anybody ever wants some coffee.
Nice.
Fresh roasted, I can mail it out to you or something.
Nice. Sweet.
But yeah, that's my life outside of gaming right now, so.
So, back to the comforts of the gaming world.
The escape. The escape.
Yep. Because RL is scary. How have you seen the Skyrim community evolve since you've been around since the very beginning? Like, what are some of the changes that you've noticed and continue to see happening?
The largest change you see is there's a huge variety of guilds up there now.
Totally.
Because at the start it was pretty much like there was 4 clan guilds.
Mm-hmm.
The Vigilant, which is just kind of like a family guild, and there was like 1 spy group.
Right.
So like there wasn't a lot of variety there, but now we have some clan guilds. There's a treasure hunting guild. There's a couple like spy / information gathering guilds. There's a couple like werewolf packs. There's a couple. I think there's a vampire coven. I'm not sure.
Oh, nice.
And then there's like actual like 2 guilds that portray themselves as bad people,
Nice.
which you don't get often.
Yeah.
So that's a huge growth there.
I mean, that's really important too. You know, I think that villains are something that pretty much every MMO roleplay community is severely lacking in. So, and they do so much good for the community on an out of character level.
You always need one person to hate, right?
Totally, yeah. And like, I mean, it's so great that, you know, not Darkwater Rangers, Dark Rogues Guild is still around, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like
the Withered Hand.
Yeah, the Withered Hand, like, it's just so awesome because you can just be like, hey, I need a bad guy. I'll just call him up.
Yeah, and they'll be like, okay, we'll redshirt this for you.
Seriously.
Or they'll actually, like, I know that they actually will fully make a character for a plot line. So, like, so, which is amazing, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's the biggest growth. I mean, a lot of the other growth has been just in the way that the community itself has grown with each other.
Sure.
So, you know, you have people stepping up to be counselors from the community that, you know, weren't there at the start now. You know, basically it's evolved the right way.
Nice.
To me, anyway, where, you know, if something comes up, there's always somebody there to fix it.
Nice.
Or, you know, if something comes up, they'll evolve to fix it as it goes.
Totally.
So it's never constantly the same thing as it was.
That's really good. I mean, I think that the communities that stagnate are the ones that just try to constantly keep everything exactly the same, you know?
Yeah, you know, you get bored.
Yeah, totally.
So, I mean, like, if you ever like take a look at the forums anymore on COS, there's event ideas almost every day.
Nice.
Somebody wants to do some sort of event. And I know Lycos, I think, is trying to start a huge, like, Skyrim community event up.
Ooh, that would be sweet. That would
Yeah.
be very cool. And Lycos is a good person to run something like that, too.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Lycos. He's the shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept joking around with him, saying, because he goes to school not far from where I live.
Oh, nice.
And I kept joking around that we were going to go out drinking, and then I learned that he's not 21. So.
Well, you know, you're old enough to buy beer for him. You
That's right, yeah. I gotta break the law a little bit.
Yeah, I think that you guys should make that happen. And I'm not endorsing underage drinking, but you should get that underage person to drink.
Right, yeah. No endorsement, but go for it.
Yeah. This is not official, but...
That's actually my business model.
Nice. So where do you see the Skyrim community going from here? Do you have any predictions about the future of things that might happen in it?
I have no idea. And that's the honest truth of it. I'm not actually as involved as I once was. I just host this, and I try to roleplay there as often as I can.
Totally.
But recently, Orcs Must Die Unchained came out, and I've just been stuck. So
Nice.
So my role playing has decreased a little bit, but
Totally.
But I don't know where it's going from here. I can only say that if to me it seems like it can only go up from here, especially with the way that ESO goes. It's maintaining its customer base and actually expanding it from what I've seen. So
definitely, I think the fact that ESO is doing well makes the community, you know, bound to do well too. You know, and not necessarily bound to, because obviously people have to keep working at it. But it's, you know, if you have new people coming in and you have old people kept happy, then, you know, of course good things are going to happen.
And that's the thing. Like if ESO just suddenly like took a downturn, you have to look around what Elder Scrolls Online is competing with it now. I mean, like there's new MMOs released, I swear, every month.
Yeah, it feels like it.
So, I mean, the fact that they're still retaining their customer base and still attracting new people is something that's really good for the community.
Yeah.
So I think as long as Elder Scrolls Online keeps interest in the game, that Children of Skyrim will keep going.
Nice.
So, but I also think like Children of Skyrim is such a tight-knit community that even if Elder Scrolls Online just suddenly just stops with any updates or whatever, people would still roleplay in Skyrim. It's the setting, you know.
Totally. And yeah, I mean, I think that is one thing that it has going for it, is because we all love Elder Scrolls so much. But we used to say in Banescale all the time, the community around us could grind to a halt. Everybody could stop role playing except for us, and we would keep role playing. You know,
yeah,
and that's
the thing. Like, that's kind of the beauty about this MMO, is that the community behind it is so dedicated.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever been in another community in a game where people were there for the lore and everything that's in it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that one of the reasons ESO attracts role players so much is because the lore is a little bit deeper and more complex. And so, you know, not to generalize too much, but I think that people who are more interested in a really good story and really good lore came to ESO in the first place. And those people have stuck around, you know?
Yeah, and it's also the less cartoony of most MMO options.
Totally.
Totally. That was a huge draw for me. It was just like, oh man, I don't have to look at this cartoon gnome or something.
Right.
You know?
And it's so much easier to relate to a character if they look like something you might see in the real world.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can relate to crocodiles better now that I've played my Argoni.
You feel like you can stare one down.
I know what you're thinking, bro.
I hope your river as well.
Yeah. I always, every time I see a reptile or anything, I can't help myself. I point at it and I go, Marsh Brother! So, I have to tell you something. I have decided not to kill you.
That's fantastic.
You answered. In fact, I'll admit I never was going to kill you if you did well enough, and so you answered all the questions, you know, pretty well, so you can survive.
Oh, great! I can go back to being my monotone self.
And you can also have your dirty podcast back. I don't want it.
Oh, thanks. Oh, my lifeblood.
Well, thank you for coming on to your own show, Nick Transu. This has been Skyrim Play. That's the best I could come up with. I'm sorry.
Skyrim Play.
Sky Play. I don't know.
Skyplay. That's a little.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I never.
Thanks for the interview.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing you around soon.
Yeah, maybe, you know, we can not spend about a year of not actually hearing each other's voices.
Well, yeah, probably would be a good idea.
Yeah. I'll catch you next year. We'll do an anniversary.
There we go. All right, well, I'll see you around, man.
Take care.
Peace.
Hi, guys. So you just watched or listened to that interview with Floyd and I, right? I hope. Anyway, thanks to Taida, you know, for making that happen. It was fun to do. I haven't talked to Floyd in a long time, so it was very, very nice to do. I just wanted to, Floyd and I talked about, you know, my soda shop popping up. I'm sorry for the terrible phone cover that I'm doing here, because I can't walk around and talk and look at a phone. So I figured I might as well give you guys a little tour of, you know, what I'll be doing for my life, I guess. So, here, let's walk outside real quick. This is my hometown. You ready? It's got a street that way. This is Main Street. And there's, you know, that's it. That's all we got. That's my whole town. So, I've worked in just about every place here. Jack of all trades type deal. Anywho, this is my shop. That's strange to say still. It's mine. So here's, you know, entrance. This is gonna be where, you know, don't mind anything back there right now, because there's nothing there. We're gonna put it all in. Seating area, you know, your basics.
We got room for 16 at a table. And then over on this wall, we're going to put a countertop, cut in a window so that I can see you all from the kitchen whenever you stop in and visit. Because y'all are stopping in and visiting at some point. There'll be a countertop here with stools you can sit at. Don't mind the vest. This building was actually a bank once, so I get some pretty cool vaults to play around with. Like, hopefully, you can see that. I don't know. I'm not turning lights on. I got to pay for electricity in this bitch. So, there's a nice little vault. We're going to have, very protected condiment stash in there for the hot dogs and, I don't know, sprinkles and jimmies if you want those. Let me take you back this way. So, this is behind the counter, inside access. Down there is going to be our soda. I'm going to get rid of this countertop. There's going to be ice cream there, oven, fridge. Use your imaginations, please. Let's see, back here. This is going to be my office. I'm going to have an office. I mean, there's nothing really here right now, but I'm going to have an office. I didn't think I'd ever have an office in my life. So, this is going to be my life. So, apologies for not really, the color's going to be not red, by the way. There's going to be like beige over there and a seafoam green everywhere else. So, this is what I've been up to. So sorry for my absence from ESO and all, the forums and such, but one day I'll get back. Hopefully, one day. Thank you all for caring enough to watch these. It means a lot. I'll definitely see you around. I have some more interviews planned, so I know, and I think me and Adelric are eventually going to go get drinks, so we might have like a live interview, which would be phenomenal. All right, guys, take care, enjoy your time, and follow your dreams.
Do you want me to... How do you want to do it exactly? Do you want me to, introduce us? Or do you want to do it?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's you just full on host this.
Really?
Yeah, just act like you're taking over the show.
Okay,
I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And it's just called COS Update, right?
You just name it whatever you want to.